Is a very soggy one from CHL Memorial looking back down on Dodds Avenue. The storm over downtown, they're just kind of on the back edge, is not severe, but heavy downpours of rain with it and quite a bit of lightning with that one as well. Now again, here is the severe weather risk factor for the night. This issued by the Storm Prediction Center puts a large part of our viewing area in that moderate to enhanced risk. So if you look at a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, most of our viewing area is under the 3 to 4 level. That's pretty high, and that's the reason why for the concern tonight as a line of storms moves in later on this evening. And the main source area is back here over northern Alabama, and it moves toward the east. So yes, somewhat the risk factors lower north and east, but please don't let down your guard. Even with a slight risk, there's still that chance that storms could be severe. So all areas locally, stay weather aware throughout the evening hours, and we're going to keep you updated as well. Here's that storm that just rolled through downtown, now moving east rapidly. I mean, it's moving east around 45 miles an hour. But heaviest rain from Ottawa to around White Oak, climbing the mountain there, back down around East Brainerd. Heavy rain with that. It's below severe levels, but it could have some strong wind gusts with it, under 40 miles an hour, so below that threshold of severe storms, and even a little bit of hail with it. It is moving east, so it'll be moving through southern parts of Bradley, on into Polk County, on towards Ocoee. There's your timeline between now and around 7 o'clock. We'll continue tracking it, but for now, not a severe storm. Tornado watch remains in effect for the entire western half of the viewing area until midnight. I do anticipate that as the storm develops farther west, a line of storms that is, this watch may be expanded with time. But our main threat is this evening. I think once we're past midnight, the severe threat starts winding down. So we've had the storms that are over us now, a few more storms down near Fort Payne, but this is the line right here. And that's the one we've been anticipating for its development to occur. And it has had explosive development along that line just in the past couple of hours, right near the Mississippi-Alabama border. Tornado warnings are in effect. You're going to see two main areas of lines. One, this line here near Nashville moving away, and then this line right here moving through southern Middle Tennessee and back through northern Alabama. So for us, just sort of giving you a broad idea here, approaching the western part of the viewing area between 7 and 8 Eastern, between 8 and 10 around downtown and to around Cleveland, and then midnight to around, or excuse me, 10 to midnight for areas to the east. And I'll show you our future track, giving an updated timeline momentarily. But again, we've used the term modes of severe weather. All modes of severe weather are possible with this. And what we mean by that is some of these storms could have large hail, strong damaging wind gusts, especially when they're on a line like that. Those wind gusts could be very strong. There's also the chance for tornadoes with that, and of course torrential downpours. So these are the storms we've had so far, individual cells, and now we're watching that line that's going to start moving on in, all in advance of warm front. But the main source is right here, right along this main warm front. It's going to be a question of how far north that warm front makes it. Will be how far north that line progresses as it moves farther east. That's what we'll be watching, and it's very critical over the next couple of hours. Here's our latest future track, and it does show that line of storms approaching areas over the western part of the viewing area, Crossville to around Mount Eagle, say to around, say, Suwanee, at around 8 o'clock Eastern time. Then moving across near downtown around 9 o'clock. The farther east you go in time, the rather quickly that storm moves along. So 11 to midnight, the storms are moving out. The rest of the night has some patchy fog, but not as severe. So again, the severe threat is mainly this evening. Tomorrow is going to be a cloudy, breezy day. Some showers back by afternoon, but not severe. But after that, we're going to be talking about colder air moving in, and even some flurries late tomorrow night for the higher elevations. We'll be watching that carefully. There's your 7-day forecast, and again, temperatures will be dropping down quite a bit. Upper 50s tomorrow, only upper 40s for highs on Wednesday. Morning lows, yeah, near that critical freezing mark by late week. So we go from severe storms tonight to the risk of maybe a freeze by late week. But we're going to be tracking this for you all throughout the night, especially that line to the west. Be sure your mobile device stays charged in case you lose power, that your location services are turned on. Therefore, if you have the Storm Track 9 app, you get the alerts. Also, be sure your weather radio right here on the side is turned on. If it's not on, you won't get the alerts. Gotcha. Be sure it's turned on.
And stay right here with us.
That's right. We'll be covering for you. Yeah.
All right, David, thanks so much. Let's now go back to downtown Chattanooga, who saw heavy rain.
Once again, here's a live look in thanks to our sister station, WEAR in Pensacola. You can see the outer bands whipping ashore there at Pensacola Beach. You can barely see the beach ball water tower that everyone I'm sure is familiar with, and the raindrops hitting the camera lens. Rough surf as well. The storm itself is about 90 miles due south of Mobile and moving toward the northwest, but all the activity is on the east side. Very common with storms like this where it's not symmetrical all the way around, where it's heavily weighted to the east side. side. That's why the strong bands are here over the northwestern Florida Panhandle. That'll translate farther north and west as the storm moves through the north and west. Sustained winds are at 70. There's some gusts above hurricane strength, and it still could reach hurricane strength prior to landfall. And then once after landfall, rapidly begin to weaken a bit. So here's a look at what could happen later on tonight. It could make landfall right here just west of Mobile sometime just after midnight through the early morning hours of Wednesday. But again, the landfall zone is one thing. Where most of the rough surf will be is east of that center. Then as it moves farther inland, it'll rapidly start to weaken a bit. So it could be down to a depression by this time tomorrow over western parts of Mississippi. Now, where it will move farther inland continues to move through the Mississippi Valley and on back into the Great Plains and onto the Great Lakes, all steered by high pressure over us. So we remain rather hot. Our shower chances very limited, but all that deep tropical moisture curling around us because of that high. But again, landfall later on tonight. There are those outer bands getting ready to get a little bit stronger from Pensacola Beach back to Panama City and getting closer and closer to Gulf Shores, Dolphin Island as it moves off toward the north and west. And you can see again, these are the strong bands just along and north of the center or the eye wall there. But notice again how it's not symmetrical all the way around. Some dry air being pulled in on that southwest side. Hurricane warnings are out from Mobile, Baldwin County, all the way back through coastal Mississippi, coastal parts of Louisiana. Landfall zone probably right about in here by later on tonight. So again, you can see the scope of the storm itself, not much moving farther inland. The deeper moisture is going to travel more toward the west-northwest on into Mississippi overnight. As for us, we've seen some spotty showers out there. That'll be the case the next couple of days, but our shower chances just rather limited. We've seen a few spotty ones here and there. They'll still stick around through the early evening hours and then gradually fade out. So while all the action's to our south, not much going on close to home. We'll have clouds through the evening hours, maybe a stray shower. And then tomorrow, the same thing as today. Not full sunshine, not just all the time cloudy, but a mix of clouds and sun, filtered sunshine, if you will. At times, a spotty shower in some spots. Highs will make it to the mid and upper 80s, held just below 90 due to the cloud cover. I don't see much changing either through Thursday. Clouds early, a mix of clouds and sun during the day, and again, a few more of those pop-up thunder showers could be there, with temperatures are high, topping out in the mid to upper 80s. So again, as we approach the end of the week, our high pressure does weaken a bit, but what's left of Gordon continues moving back into the Plains states, eventually curling off to the north and east. But a stalled front north of us over the weekend could draw closer, maybe allowing for a better chance of scattered thunder showers late into the weekend. So for tomorrow, a lot of cloud cover around, slightest chance for a spotty shower, highs in the upper 80s, largely unchanged the next several days. I would say Thursday, Friday, be aware of some afternoon thunder showers. Your chances grow a little higher into the weekend, but none of these are the all-day variety, as all that deep tropical moisture stays south and west.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's still going to be warm. It's
and humid.
And humid.
Yeah.
And rainy at times.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Sure. Speaking of Gordon, though, you came from the Gulf Coast and have covered so many storms down there. This is kind of the time of the year when these things start popping up.
You're near the peak of the season statistically, but Mobile, Pensacola is where I used to work, and seeing a storm like this, been through that many times.
Right.
Thankfully, it's not to the scope of Ivan or Katrina, but still, even these smaller ones can cause flooding issues, coastal damage and flooding, so got to watch it very carefully.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. Now, September is National Preparedness Month, so this
Expect that, and tonight they're just thankful everyone's okay.
We were prepared, but luckily we did not get hit.
Police here have put a curfew in effect tonight in an effort to prevent any looting. Reporting live tonight in Jacksonville, Alabama, Stephanie Sanastasi, News Channel 9.
Stephanie, thank you for your reporting down there. Thankfully, nobody was hurt there. Let's now go back to David Glenn. David, what can we expect? Explain what happened last night, because it went just south of us here in the Chattanooga area.
Yeah, and it was just south. And for those of you unfamiliar with where Jacksonville is, it's right between Gadsden and Anniston right here. Now, here's where a warm front was last night. South of that is where there was a tremendous amount of energy, and the storms basically riding right along that front down to the south and east. So where we were to the north, well, these were strong, a squall line with strong wind gusts, but nowhere near the strength of these that moved right along that warm front. If that front had made farther progress north, all of that may have been translated farther north. So it could have been a totally different situation. So for us, not as bad, but terrible for that area down there. If you look at the storm reports, see these tornadoes here, and that's near Jacksonville, all the way across to the Georgia-Alabama border. All of these touchdowns appear to be The National Weather Service is still studying that, appear to be from the same parent storm with that long track tornado, making touchdowns along the way, all the way to the Georgia border. Notice for us, very little, thankfully, in the way of damage. But again, terrible situation there north of I-20 in Georgia and Alabama. Hannah Lawrence is now live outside to show us what the storms are like in areas farther south of us, not just in Jack State, but all the way into Georgia. Hannah?
Yeah, David, people here in Chattanooga were preparing for the worst yesterday, but here's a look at people in Georgia and Alabama who are cleaning up tonight instead. It all began with strong winds and hail that set off tornado sirens in parts of northeastern Alabama.
We heard the usual noise.